So, I almost died last week, and I need to tell somebody about it because my wife is tired of hearing about it. And I mean, actually died. Not like I almost slipped. I mean, there was a solid 2 or 3 seconds where I genuinely thought, okay, this is the thing that's going to get me. And the worst part is, I went back the next day, and I'll have to go back tomorrow. I'm going to explain why. But first, I got to explain what I actually do. Because when I tell people I work at a paper mill, they think, oh, I'm just stacking paper in a warehouse somewhere. I work on a machine that has a lake of lava inside of it. I'm being completely serious. Stay with me. So here's how paper gets made. You take wood chips, you boil them in chemicals, then it melts like glue and holds wood together. What's left is fiber. That's paper. Cool. Easy. But what you're also left with is a black tar sludge we call black liquor. And black liquor is a half burnable gunk and half the chemicals you just burned with. And those chemicals are stupid expensive. You can't throw them away. The mill would go under in a month. So some guy back in like the 30s goes, what if we burned the burnable half and got the chemicals back? Same machine, same time. And that's a recovery boiler. And it's genuinely a brilliant engineering and it completely insane. And here's why. It's 10 stories tall. You spray tar into it, it catches fire, and the fire makes steam and powers the whole mill. Great. But the chemicals don't burn, they just melt. And they puddle up in the floor of the furnace, and that puddle sits around 1500 degrees. We call it smelt. It's lava. It's not like lava. We made lava. There's a pool of it in a building, and that's where I work. Obviously, that puddle can't just sit there or it'd fill up, so there's holes in the wall at the bottom. We call them spouts, and the lava drains out of the spouts and runs down into a little trough, and it drops into a tank of liquid underneath. It dissolves in there, and the chemicals go back around and get reused again. You caught that, right? We pour lava into water on purpose all day, every day, 24/7. That's not an accident. That's the design. That's how the machine works. So why is that insane? When water touches something that hot, it doesn't boil. There's no time to boil. It flashes straight to steam, and steam takes up about 1700 times the space of water. So picture 1 cup of water, 1 cup, touch it to smelt, and about 1/10 of a second, that cup is a bathtub of steam in the same spot where there is no room for a bathtub. That's an explosion. Nothing catches fire, nothing ignites, it's just pressure showing up out of nowhere, faster than the building can get out of the way. And here's the messed up part. Small ones are normal. That's just the job. There's little pops that go off all the time, and you genuinely stop hearing them after about a week. We even shoot jets of liquid at the smelt on purpose to break it into droplets on the way down so it dissolves nice instead of hitting the tank as one big slug. Because a big version takes the wall off of the building. And I don't mean cracks the wall, I mean the boiler's gone and everybody's standing in it. There's a whole safety organization in the industry that exists basically because of this one problem. We've got an emergency procedure where if we even think water's getting somewhere it shouldn't, we don't check, we don't investigate, we dump the entire boiler and everybody runs. That's the correct response to, that's weird. Evacuate. Okay, so that's the machine. Now, let me tell you about spout number 4. So it's about 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to the 3rd floor to clean the liquor guns that feed the boiler. It was nothing out of the normal. And then I'm coming downstairs and I smell smoke, like a lot of smoke. And when I get to the spout deck, the entire 4th spout is overflowing with smelt and basically has many explosions of lava just going everywhere. And there is a fire about 6 feet tall. So when I get down there, that spout is just backed up. So what that means in normal person terms, the drain is plugged, green liquor built up a head on it. That's a fancy way of saying the stuff that's supposed to be flowing into the actual tank is stacking up and backing up into the spout. And what happens there, the lava has nowhere to go, so it ends up just going over the trough. And where it's landing is the problem. It's coming over the lip, going straight into the weak wash, coming off of the shatter jet, which means 1500 degree molten salt is hitting water out in the open, not down the tank where it's supposed to, right there in the room where people are. And every single time it touched, the whole floor went off like a shotgun. And I want to be clear, The sound pop, pop, pop sounds cute, but you can actually feel these explosions in your chest. You feel it on the deck plate through your boots. It's not a noise you hear, it's a noise that happens to you. And every one of those was throwing smelt, not dripping, throwing across the floor in every direction about 20 feet. And it's not stopping, it's getting faster. And somebody has to go in there to fix that. So I volunteered, which really it's my job. I have to go try to fix this. I'm the one that trained for this. So when you got to suit up, you spend about 5 minutes suiting up. You have to put on 2 coats, a safety hood, welding gloves, and it's already 120 degrees in that room. Looking through the hood, you can barely see what's really going on. And when I was trying to have to stop it, my entire body was shaking of fear because I thought I was going to die. And the whole time you're getting dressed up, you can just hear it going off. That's the thing. You're standing there getting into a suit at whatever pace you can manage, and the entire time it's popping, every pop is throwing lava somewhere. And I'm not going to lie to you, I thought about, what if I don't make it home? Standing right there, putting on my suit, that's what's going through my head. And then you go in anyway, because that's your job. After I got suited, I called my recovery operator. I informed them of the situation. After that, we went through a protocol, took one of the sprays out, so we had less liquor going into the boiler, and we increased the heat so that the liquor could burn faster. Doing this made the force spout eventually plug up, so it was no longer overflowing, causing explosions to go off, and made everything a little bit safer. And then I was a tiny bit relieved, and I remember thinking very clearly, very calmly, that would have been all of me. Because that's the thing about smelt. There's no partial. It's not like you're going to get burned, go to the hospital, and be back in 6 weeks. That's 1,500 degrees that hits you, and that's the end of the story. I got the situation resolved and ended up cleaning the force spout up, getting it unplugged and back running, and was luckily no damage to the actual components or myself. Afterwards, I sat in silence and felt sick to my stomach. I threw up a couple times and was even in disbelief of what I had just been a part of. I told my wife everything that happened, and she was sympathetic and angry for me. And here's what I actually can't stop thinking about. None of this was a surprise. We have been telling our FLLs for months that 3 sprays in this new boiler was not working. We still had new components mixed in with old components, and the 3rd and the 4th spout had just been building heads for like 2 months straight. And if we didn't do something about it, someone was going to get hurt. The thing about this, though, is people above us do not care as much as you think they should. Rather, they would allow you to deal with this conflict until the next outage, which could be a year or so from now. Instead of taking the boiler down for a while, resolve the issue, and make it safer for everyone else. There's a name for this. It's called Normalized Deviance. It's when something goes a little bit wrong and nothing bad happens. So that becomes the new normal. Then it goes a little more wrong and nothing bad happens. So that's normal now too. And every single huge disaster you've ever heard of has the exact same shape. It's never one giant mistake. It's 100 small ones everybody already knew about, and one night they all line up at once. So I know people are going to make comments and be like, bro, just quit. I've got a family at home who eat because I walk through that gate. This job pays more than anything else within 100 miles of my house, and it pays it to a guy whose only real skill is running that machine and doesn't exist anywhere else. There's nowhere to take this. I'm not proud of it. I'm not the one of those guys who thinks being in danger makes him hard. I go because money's good and the family needs money. And that's the whole reason. That's it. There's no better answer than that. Anyway, that's my week. Spout 4's still like that, by the way. Tell me what your job is in the comments. I want to know that I'm not the only one.